Hey guys, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I've just been working on a little side project lately and I wanted to kind of share it with you. And it's a line one pouch. And I wanted to talk about a few different options. So in front of me, I've got one of my bush hunter knives. This is my personal knife, it's an older version, but it does have this Cordura sleeve on the outside of the Kydex sheath, and that's what I'm still making with the laser cut molly on the front. And the reason I've done that is because I've always liked the idea of carrying, your line one gear on your person. And that, for those of you that aren't familiar with that term, your line one gear is really the equipment that you use to ensure that you can hydrate, take care of your core body temperature, build a shelter, create fire, and signal or self rescue. And so having those items on you as opposed to, say, in your pack is really important, I think. So that way you've always got them when you need them. And of course, that means if you're going to carry them on your person, it's got to be compact, it's got to be efficient, and frankly, you're going to need a pretty decent skill set so that you don't have to carry everything except the kitchen sink. And so here I've got my Cordura sleeve with the molly on front so that you can attach a small pouch to the front of this knife should you choose to. I like to leave the option open for those who don't want to do that. There's certainly many different ways to carry your line one gear. It doesn't have to be attached to your knife, but I like the idea of it being attached to the knife. That way, when you put your knife on, you've also got that gear with you, and there is no confusion on, oh shoot, did I forget to pack it, or where did I leave it last time? I used to wear a British smock a lot out in the field, and those are great because they have a lot of pockets and you can put your line one gear all over inside of it. Well, the problem I was running into was that worked great for the fall and winter and spring, and then summer would come around and I'd have to relocate everything, and I was just constantly chasing my tail. And so I kind of decided that having something stored on my belt knife was better because I wear this every season. Like, it doesn't change. And so having it stored there just made sense to me. So over here I've got an example of basically the line one gear that I would consider essential. And so it's one of my line one kits, and I've got a few extra items in here, but basically this is fire, navigation, and water disinfection all combined in here. And then I've got this well beat up folded thermal blanket. And so that's shelter and also signaling right there. And so with those items plus my knife, I can basically ensure my core body temp is taken care of, I can hydrate, and I can start thinking about how I'm going to get rescued. So let's talk about a few different pouches I've used to attach this gear to my knife. So over here I've got 3 different pouches. These are all, sized appropriately for fitting on the knife, and I just kind of wanted to go over kind of my experiences with them. Excuse me. And so the first is a surplus Molly frag grenade pouch. And these are cheap and plentiful, and they're pretty handy, but they're also, when we start talking about needing to be efficient, they're also pretty heavy, and they're also quite bulky. When you stick this on the front of your knife, now your knife is sticking out another 3 inches with that big old buckle on the front. Plus this buckle tends to hit on things, and I don't like the sound of that, branches and things. The way the lid comes over the top, it leaves this big opening here, which if you're trying to keep equipment on the inside protected from weather and elements, definitely is a big opening for things to get in, but also things to get out. Now, of course, these were designed to carry a fragmentation grenade about the size of a baseball. So, that's not going to fit through there, right? But if you're trying to carry smaller items, they could. And so I weighed these before. So this is the heaviest. It's 3¼ ounces. It's also the cheapest. So if you're balling on a budget, that might be the way for you to go, at least until you can afford something better, or just save your money and get something better. The next pouch, and this is what I've used for quite a while, ever since I started making these Cordura pouches. And when I switched to this style of sheath, I actually designed this with the idea of using this pouch. Like, I'd already owned one of these pouches, and I said, yep, I love that pouch. I'm going to use it on there. And so this is a Bongo Gear compass pouch, and I've visited with the owner a lot. He's an old Marine with a ton of field experience. And this is a compass navigation pouch. It is not a survival gear storage pouch. And as a compass and navigation pouch, it's probably perfect as far as I can tell. Here I've got a small Write in the Rain notepad, as well as a small short mechanical pencil, and also a Sunto MC2 compass. And it also fits the lensatic compasses good as well, if that's something that you prefer. And so as a navigation pouch, it's excellent. It's got laser cut moly slots on the back. It also has these shorter slots on the back for using like Velcro one wrap if you want to attach this to like a pack shoulder belt, or shoulder strap rather, so you can access it really easy. It's got this very cool old school snap on the front, and just rugged, durable, and it works very good for what it was designed to do. But like the frag grenade pouch, because it has this extra long lid to clear things like notepads and base plate compasses and such, it also has that same problem with the big hole at the top. And so to kind of address that, when I was hauling my Line 1 gear in one, I would actually run this elastic bungee kind of around the top and just kind of cinch this opening shut a little, and it worked fine. Never lost any gear, and it worked great. And so this it's not a terrible option. I like that it's nice and big. It definitely fit the items that I was looking to fit in there. Plus, you know, there's a little room in there still if you wanted to pack a little extra gear. And so last but not least is this little potato sack looking thing that I made. And this is a laser cut 500D Cordura pouch. I'm calling it my Line 1 pouch. And this is a prototype. It has just a few changes that I'm going to make on it. But pretty much this is, for the most part, what you're going to get. Still MOLLE mountable, so you can put it on the front of the knife. Okay, and so just to kind of show you what this pouch looks like, here you can see my Line 1 gear inside of it. And what I ended up doing was kind of creating these flaps. You have to bear with me, I'm doing this one-handed, but I think you could visualize folding that over and then pulling this down tight. And what that does is it keeps debris and rain and stuff from getting in your pouch, but also it will keep things from coming out of the pouch. Now these are going to be Velcro because I didn't want to add extra weight by going with a snap. Plus I wanted full width coverage. And this type of pouch, you know, I like this type of snap on this compass pouch because you're getting in and out of it regularly. You're opening and closing it, pulling your compass out, making notes, etc. Where this pouch, really, you should pack your gear in it and close it, and it should never come open again until you need it. And so that's kind of why I've chosen to go with Velcro, to keep the weight down, to get a nice wide, full width flap. And so, like I said, I sewed and cut this one myself. It's got a drain grommet, MOLLE mountable, made from 500D Cordura. This pouch alone, no gear in it, weighs 1/2 ounce. Like I said, the compass pouch weighs 3 1/4 ounces, and the Bongo Gear pouch weighs 1 1/4 ounces. And that's with no MOLLE attachments or anything thrown in. So it's very lightweight. These pouches, this is probably the 5th or 6th one that I've made of different sizes. And this pouch, I think this is the size I'm going to stick with. It's got a little extra room still. You could probably fit another Mylar space blanket in there, or some other gear. A Leatherman would fit in there next to this. So you'd have a pretty robust little kit attached to a really solid knife. So here you can see, this is roughly what it would look like if I were to mount it to this sheath, right now it's just sitting on it. And it does add some depth or some width to the sheath, but I think with my new redesign where I get rid of all this on the back, I think it'll ride really nice still. So kind of a fun project, something that, like I said, I've been thinking about for a while. I was tossing back and forth the idea, you know, when there's already a pouch like this does 90% of really what I was looking to do. Is it worth going out and designing my own? And I guess, yeah, it's a fun experience. I'll probably offer these over on my store. That way, if you're ordering a knife from me and you would like a pouch that's designed specifically for that knife, you'll have the option to do that. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day.